What's up, everybody? Here we go. All right. How y'all doing today, man? We here. We live in living color. Hopefully, we live in living color. But anyway, trying to make it do what it do on this beautiful. It's Friday. Okay, it's Friday. TGIF. Okay, TGIF. Yeah, TGIF. So, what are you thankful for? Hit me up in the comments section. Let me know what you're thankful for. We want to talk a little bit about identity and the crisis, because it's an interesting conversation. I think we might have talked about this once before, but this morning some things were on my heart, and it's been a while since I've been live chit chatting with you. So I figured we would hop on and go live for a little bit. Let me see here. And so with that said and done, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know where you're watching from, and let me know if you rock with your boy Retro. Okay, now let's just hop right into this thing. Okay, as you can see, depending on where you're watching from, we are gearing up for what we call our Biker Sunday. It's nothing new. There are plenty of other people who do it, and they do it on a regular basis. Okay, now let me see here. Bada boom, bada bang. Is this what I want? No. There we go. Okay, wanted to put that up there. So, Biker Sunday, ladies and gentlemen, is going down Sunday, May 31st. And so it'll be here before you know it, okay? 11 a.m. It all goes down right here at Upper Praise Ministries, also known affectionately as the Alignment Center, okay, for Kingdom Alignment, the Alignment Center, Kingdom Alignment, yeah, okay. And so we certainly want to invite you to come out and worship with us. Now, let's talk about Upper Praise Ministries and Kingdom Alignment Motorcycle Ministry. One and the same, if you will, but distinctly different as well, okay? And so Kingdom Alignment Motorcycle Ministry, it is a ministry that operates out of the church, birthed out of the church. C1s is in the building, ladies and gentlemen. Let's make some noise for him on this here beautiful Friday. Now, I am in my office, and I'm working from a completely different computer, and so I don't have any of my things sorted out here. Let me do this real quick. Bada boom, bada bang. So we got the applause. If we ain't got nothing else, at least we got the applause. And so again, let's make some noise for C1s in the building. Kingdom Alignment Motorcycle Ministry is a extension of Upper Praise Ministries. Now, I said this the other day. I'm going to say it again. I am not a biker. I'm not a biker. Every now and then I do biker stuff, okay? And someone called me the other day. Literally, they called me and said, "Man, what you talking about? You ain't a biker, man," and this, that, and that. And I understand where they're coming from, and appreciate their encouragement, kind words, and all that good stuff. Shout out to all you good people. I'm sure it's a popular belief there are a lot of good people out here in this world. The problem is so much of the foolishness is magnified. So much of the foolishness is pushed because the reality is negativity sells better than positivity. Drama sells much better than maturity. Y'all ain't got to say nothing to me up in here. I'm preaching better than you praising right up in there, right there. And so anyway, that's the kind of stuff that we see on a regular basis. And so many a times it seems as though that's the it is what it is. But there's some good people out here in this world. And so you've got to learn to appreciate good people when you finally find them, okay? Identity. Let's talk about that for a little bit here, okay? Because I understand who I am. Now, have I always understood who I am? Nah, there were days where, especially in my younger years, more specifically, where I struggled. Okay, because as a young man in this world, as a young person in this world, sometimes it's a struggle to come into your own. I told you the story before. I'll tell it once again, just to be safe. Years ago, man, I almost wore them too. Had no idea I would talk about it, but anyway, here we are, right? Anyway, we're what you asked. I'm glad you asked. My shell toe Adidas, back in the '80s. Whew, man, the shell toe Adidas was hitting, man. I remember Run DMC my Adidas. Yeah, you had to have a pair if you was gonna be somebody. Well, I asked Edna, that's my mama. I said, Mama, can I get some Adidas? I wanted some shell toe Adidas because they were the in sneakers and everybody was wearing them and everything and so Mama said, you know what, baby, you need some shoes, you need some sneakers, and so her being the good mama that she is, she set out to go and get her baby some sneakers. And I'll never forget it, folks. Mama come home one day with these sneakers, but they were not shell toe Adidas. They were Wild Styles. I need somebody right now to go and Google Wild Style sneakers and see if they pop up. I don't know if they will. If my memory serves me correctly, they were white like shell toe Adidas. They had the front toe that looked like shell toe Adidas. But if my memory serves me correctly, I think they had like an extra stripe instead of three. They had four, and so they were not the real deal. But it's what Mama. Yeah, Okay. So what's my point? I'm glad you asked. My point is, as a young man, folks, I learned not to attach my identity to things. Yeah, yeah. As a young man growing up, folks, I learned that it is not the things that make the man, but the man that makes the things. Some of y'all might not get that, I understand. I understand. But I'm grateful for the way I was raised. I'm grateful for the way I grew up. Because the way we are raised and the way we grow up are not always the same thing. Sometimes we are raised a particular way by our parents, by our family, but we grow into a whole different being. And that was my story. My parents did the best that they could with what they had, but a lot of choices I made on my own. And so, though I was raised a particular way, I also grew a particular way, if that makes sense. But what happened for me, ladies and gentlemen, saints and ain'ts, is I came into my own. Um, she putting them Adidas on, man. Tell the wifey we said hello, man. I almost put mines on the other day as well, man. Yesterday, I got a couple pair over there at the crib still. But tell the wife we said what's up, C1s. There are a lot of people whose identity is wrapped up in the things they possess. The Bible says, what profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? On one occasion, he sends the disciples out and he tells them, take no script, take no clothing, don't take nothing with you. Because see, the problem is a lot of times we take things with us, and the things we take with us give us an ability or an advantage, if you will. And as a result, we begin to identify with the thing that gave us the leg up. We begin to take on the thing as part of our identity. But I believe God intentionally wanted them to go do the work that they were called to do without those things. We are dealing with an identity crisis in this world. The Bible tells us that we were created in his image and in his likeness. But nowadays, we identify as what we feel like. You know the story in schools right now. To this day, you have children, unfortunately, who say they are cats. They chose to identify as a four-legged beast. Lewis, what's going on, brother? Let's make some noise for Lewis in the building. And it is extremely troublesome. It's strange. So what's my point? My point is, before the foundation of the world, God already spoke on our behalf. And as a result, created us in his image and in his likeness. And we have missed the mark. We have begun to identify with the things we possess. And that is not the way it was intended to be from the beginning. We are dealing, ladies and gentlemen, with an identity crisis in the land. And I said this the other day. I'm going to say it again because somebody might be watching that can help us here with this situation. Okay, we have a lot of Christian content creators. Am I right? And I don't have anything against content creators. Lord knows I don't. I'm trying to I'm trying to multitask here, folks. So y'all just bear with me here for just a moment. So we have, I don't have anything with content creators. Okay. But if you are going to wear the title of a Christian, I can scratch that. We don't even have to go there. Let me just say it like this. I think that we should be careful of the stuff we choose to cover, because if we cover it, in essence and in some shape, form, or fashion, we are promoting it. You say, oh, no, I'm not promoting that, but it needs to be told. Well, you're putting it out there, so you are promoting it. Anytime you promote a thing, you're giving it a stage. You're giving it space to grow. You're giving it space to be seen. You're putting it in front of someone. So you say you're not promoting the foolishness, but that's all that's on your timeline. And I get it. There are some people who need to be held accountable for the things that they're doing. I get that, but I also believe that there is a time and a place for everything. And the reality, brothers and sisters, is this: once you put it out there, it's out there. I try to be somewhat strategic, and even when not strategic, intentional. What do you mean, Retro? My timeline. Because you never know who is going to come across your timeline. Facebook has a way of pushing your content out or not. We call it the algorithm. I'm not going to spend too much time there, but some of y'all are being pimped by the algorithm, and some of y'all are becoming hoes to the algorithm. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that, but it's true. And so the algorithm is a very interesting thing. But anyway, the point is this: you don't know who's going to come against. I had a conversation with someone recently, and I tried to say it in a very encouraging way, and I hope it was received as such. But I was trying to admonish them to clean up their social media. because today is Friday. You might feel a certain way, right? Um, Shaquise, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Let's make some noise for Shaquise McCoy, aka the one and only Expressions in the building. You better act like you know. What's up, Diego? Hope all is well with you and yours. Natalie, she says, be careful what you put on, excuse me, out in the universe because some things in life just can't be erased. Yeah, some things in life, ladies and gentlemen, it cannot be erased, and that's the point that I'm making, Natalie. So thank you for commenting there. Um, Not only can it not be erased, but you don't know how it's going to affect someone else. I told this story before. It's been a while, and I'm not going to go into it in detail. But there was an individual who was watching um, my lifestyle. I was living a certain lifestyle, and and they were watching. Um, I was going to say from the shadows, but um, let me correct that. They were watching, and I just didn't know. You see, when you're being watched by certain people, it will cause you to act a certain way, or it can cause you to act a certain way. And truth be told, if I knew, had I known that this individual was watching, okay, I would have conducted myself differently. And even if I wouldn't have conducted myself differently, I would have took more direct responsibility for not only what I was doing, but how they were seeing it. See, when you don't see them see you, I want to be careful and say this the right way. I didn't see them see me. So I took no follow up actions to make sure they were good and to make sure, it didn't bother them a certain kind of way, whatever. And when I found out, it was too late. And the individual, I never forget when they were telling this to me, and years had transpired now. I was no longer doing the things that I was doing, but they were doing that and even more. And so you don't know, undercover watchers. I like that one, Natalie. Yeah. We don't know, true story, we don't know, number one, who's watching, and we don't know how they're going to take what it is that they see. And what I mean by that is simply this: they see what you do and they glorify it. Now, you may do what you do, or you may have done what you did as a means to an end. All right, you had no choice, so you went out there and you did a little something strange for a piece of change. And but they saw it and they glorified it, so they didn't pick it up to do it to get to, as a means to an end. They took glory in it. They took pride in it. They took, and they went off the deep end. You see, now you did it and you knew it wasn't going to be a lifetime thing. You just said, I ain't got no choice. Either I starve or, and so you did what you did for a season. But now they pick it up and they're trying to do it for a lifetime. And so we have to be very careful, ladies and gentlemen. See, when people see things and they pick it up without a full or a complete or an accurate understanding, they can very easily get lost in the sauce. Yeah, they can get lost in the sauce, and they begin to identify with the things that they do, because as they do it, they get a certain feeling from it. They get certain kinds of results from it, and they begin to identify with the lifestyle. Let me go back to the fact that I am not a biker. I bought my first motorcycle. It's somewhere on my Facebook page, so if you really want to fact check me, you can do that. But and this was years after I had bought it. But when I was 15 when I bought it. Matter of fact, I bought it from a brother named Marcel Smith. Really good dude, man, and he's still around. It's been years since I seen him, but we went to high school together. But anyway, I bought it from him. It was a Honda. What was that thing? It was an EX 500 or something like that. Little, hey, for a 15-year-old, I was doing something. Pearl white, little stripe down the side. Bought it from him and rode rode it and rode it and rode it, right? But I never in all that time, I was never exposed to the motorcycle set. Okay, had motorcycles since then, and growing up, always, was out there trying to do my thing. I get saved now, right? And hadn't had a motorcycle for a while. When by the time I got saved, right? Years later, I moved down here to North Carolina. Beautiful weather and everything. So boom, we get back on. We get another motorcycle. And again, even then, wasn't exposed to the motorcycle community at all in terms of the set. Let me speed this thing up so I can get out of your way. My point that I'm making, and if you're in motorcycle ministry, don't go nowhere yet, because we coming for you. We want to talk to you for a little bit. And so I start riding, and I've been riding for years. Once I got back down here, once I got to the Carolinas, got back on, have been riding for years on motorcycle for years, several of them, right? And then I get exposed to the motorcycle community, the motorcycle set. Okay. Um, Now here's what I understand, and here's where I want to talk to the motorcycle ministry community. Okay. I am not a biker, but I do biker stuff. Okay. Um, a biker, in my opinion, and y'all can correct me. Please do so humbly, or I should say, please do so. What's the word I'm looking for? Respectfully and kindly, and so on and so forth. Don't come for me, but correct me if you feel I'm wrong. Or enlighten me. I believe that a biker has his identity in the lifestyle. Okay, if you are a biker, then that is your identity, that is your lifestyle. Okay, for me, I'm not a biker because biking is not my identity. Now, some may believe otherwise because, you say, man, every time I see you on your bike and this, that, and that. No, no, I'm not. It's just every time you see me on my bike. But I do a whole lot more than just ride my bike. I try to encourage the motorcycle community in a very strategic way and a roundabout way. And then sometimes very blatantly. You got to be a biker beyond the bike. You got to be more than just a throttle and a clutch, and you got to be more than just okay. So I believe that a biker gets their identity from the things surrounding motorcycling. Tank, what's going on, brother? Let's make some noise for Tank in the building today. And so, with that said and done, I do not consider myself, nor do I identify as a biker. Okay. Um, so, see if I can get back on track, wrap this thing up. I was exposed to the motorcycle community, the motorcycle set. I would probably say 2014, 15, somewhere around there. And I really began to look into it and check it out. Now, there were several things that were happening simultaneously. Okay, there were several things that were happening at the same time for the same purpose. Okay, and for me, motorcycling. Oh, let me say it this way: motorcycle ministry is an assignment. Okay, it even is not my identity. All right, I am Sheldon McIver. Some of y'all call me retro. Some of y'all call me some other stuff. That's okay. Call me what you want. Just don't call me late for dinner. Bada boom, bada bang. But anyway, so I want us to be careful how we set our identity in motion. You've got to realize that you are not what you do. Okay. As it relates to motorcycling, I motorcycle the way I motorcycle because of who I am. But motorcycling the way I motorcycle doesn't make me who I am. Now, for some, it might be different. Okay, because we got some weird folk. I like to call them goofy. We got some goofy. We got some goofy Negroes out there. We got some goofy people out there. Okay, and because they motorcycle so that they can be identified as a biker. And I don't even think that a real biker motorcycles to be identified as a biker. They just, But anyway, I digress. Can you imagine riding your scoot across country and halfway across your trip, you're so excited because you can't wait to get back and brag and say you did what you did, and and post. Now I post too. Don't get it twisted. And ain't nobody gonna stop me from posting my travels and my accomplishments and things of that nature. That's another story that we need to have really really soon. But what I'm saying right now, some people only do it because of the results that it will get them. Some people say they do it for the love of it, but they really do it for the praise. And the reason why I can say this and stand on business as I say it is because it is not restricted, or it is not exclusive to the motorcycle community. Okay, this is exclusive to people, period. You see it in the church, you see it in business. Yeah, some people are only successful not because they're so much hard workers, but because they got to prove something to somebody else. Oh my goodness. You ever ask somebody about who they are and they tell you what they do? They don't know who they are. They have an identity crisis. And that, brothers and sisters, is a problem. You know, when someone says, "Tell me a little bit about yourself," if the first thing you tell them is what you do, you need to spend some time with you. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You need to spend some time. There's a quote. First person I heard say it was my niece. It was her high school project, not her high school project, but her high school quote or whatever. She was senior, and they had to come up with a quote or whatever. I believe she may have had it on her cap or whatever. And some of you guys are some serious students, so you may have heard this quote before. I wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed. I was just always glad to be in the shed. But anyway, the quote is simply says, "Sometimes we find ourselves in the middle of nowhere, and in the middle of nowhere we find ourselves." Some people need to find themselves in the middle of nowhere so that they can find themselves. Because for some people, they would cease to do what they do if they realized or found out that no one was looking. If they came to the understanding that what they are doing, no one is ever going to see it, they would no longer do what they do. I'm just, you know, sharing some observations. Like I said, I could be wrong. You know what I mean? But it is a blessing not to find your identity in what you do. I'm sitting here in my office at the church, okay? And I've been pastoring this church for 18 years. Pastoring is my assignment, not my identity. My children, my kids, I got two beautiful children. They're young adults now and have their own families. And I'm proud of both of them, my son and my daughter. I'm proud of them both. They have blossomed and are blossoming into beautiful young adults who are contributing to society and ultimately to this world. And God is not done with them yet. When I tell you God is up to something great, and every day I get smaller and smaller, and just try to find my place in this whole puzzle to just be of of assistance. But they're beautiful children, man. They really are beautiful young adults, and they still call me. They check on me. They stop by. They still want to, spend time with me and their mama. You know what I mean? And that means a lot to me. But I'm saying that to say this: had I lost my identity in my assignment, it wouldn't be that way. A lot of people have lost their identity in their assignment, and their loved ones no longer know who they are. Their loved ones, in many occasions, don't want anything to do with them. Don't they, they get no enjoyment or pleasure or substance out of being with them, because your people don't need your assignment, they need you. I know your assignment is important to you, as mine is to me. But there comes a time when you need to put the assignment down and tend to the most important ministry that you will ever have, and that's your family. So let me just talk to my brothers and sisters in the motorcycle ministry community, okay? Um, because I am trying not to be a Debbie Downer, a negative Nancy, or whatever you call it, negative Ted, or whatever you call it. Um, and I certainly don't want to be the person that always finds fault and never offers solution. Um, so I'm going to say it like this: it would be best for us who are walking in motorcycle ministry and ministry period, not to lose our identity. God did not call. Let me see here. Okay, some of y'all might disagree with me here. Motorcycle ministry is not a calling for me. For you, it might be. For me, it's not a calling, it's an assignment. Okay? And even with our callings, even if I did feel it was a calling, okay, um, we still have to be careful not to lose our identity in it. Let me tell you a quick story about a man by the name of Moses. Moses had some issues, okay? Um, One of the issues that Moses had was he had a temper problem. He had a problem with his temper. And if you study the life of Moses, you'll see it playing out throughout the scripture. Moses, we were talking about this the other day too. Moses, the Bible says he was raised as the grandson to Pharaoh. Okay, he was not what he was raised as. Y'all might catch that later. And at some point in Moses' life, he realized that what he was raised as, he was not. And I can imagine in my mind's eye that it created, excuse me, it created a struggle of sorts. It created an issue. And when you have issues that you don't know how to deal with, you sometimes become subject to anger issues. Hmm. All right. Not only anger issues, but identity issues. I believe people who are quick to get angry are people who are literally suffering from an identity crisis. They know what they were raised as, but they don't know who they are. They can do what they do very well, but they don't know who they are. Yeah. And so for those who are out here doing motorcycle ministry, I must say it, we have so many um, who have patches that look like one percenters. I'm not talking about the little diamond, but when I was exposed to the motorcycle community, ladies and gentlemen, anything I'm in, I study it before I just jump in, and I did. I went to doing some study and some research and some observing, and mom and them used to say, you got to listen more than you speak, and I speak quite a bit, so you ought to know. Come on, somebody. All right. And so, ladies and gentlemen, saints and ain'ts, looks like we might be having some camera issues from one of the sources, but it looks like we're back now. So I did some studying, right? And as a motorcycle ministry, from my observation, from my study, and from my learning, technically we should only have a one patch cut, right? But you have so many that have lost their identity in Christ to be identified amongst the world. Should I say that one more time? We have so many who have lost their identity in Christ to be identified with the world. Let's see. Where do we go from here, folks? So here's what I want to encourage us to do. Keep doing what you're doing in terms of your assignment, but learn and understand whose you are and who you are. It is disturbing. Okay, let me say this. How would you feel if somebody came up to you and said, "Hey, are you a pedophile?" And I know that's very harsh and very disgusting. But for someone to mistake you for something means you have to at least resemble what they mistake you for. And even if you don't look like it visually, or but because of your proximity or location, you have been mistaken. As a young teenager, my mother used to tell me all the time, you got to watch the people you hang out with. And, you're going to mess around and you're going to get in trouble. And this, she used to say it all the time, man. And lo and behold, my first case was because of a case of mistaken identity. I was at the wrong place at the wrong time. And in this case, I wasn't so much with the wrong people, but I was in the mix. I was in the midst, and it was serious. It was serious. So when we started Kingdom Alignment Motorcycle Ministry, we had a one patch cut. I'm not on my bike today, so I don't have it to show, but you guys know what it looks like. I had a one patch, one piece patch, and whenever we would be out, a lot of times people would come up to me. I do apologize for the camera doing what it's doing on, looks like, on the Facebook, and probably on Kingdom Alignment as well, because I shared it to there. So if you're watching from there, my apologies. But anyway, people will come up to me and say, "Hey, what club you with? What club you ride with?" And and I would have to explain to them, no, we don't ride with a club. We are a motorcycle ministry. And for some of my brothers out there in motorcycle ministry, they are Christian MCs. Um, we've had a long show about that already several times, so I'm not going to rehash all of that. Um, but anyway, um, I believe ministry should be ministry and club should be club. That's my take on it. But anyway, I digress. They would come up to me and say, "What club you ride with?" No, we're not a club. We're a motorcycle ministry, and I'd explain it and everything. And though it did offer an opportunity for discussion and for enlightenment, um, but I began to feel as though there were plenty of people who may never come up and ask the question for clarity. They would just automatically assume. And I know we all know what happens when we assume, but still, Um, and so what did we do? We eventually, for several reasons, well, not several, but for a couple of reasons, we, what's the word I'm looking for? We redid our patch. We rebranded the ministry. Okay, and so we designed a different patch. And so the patch you see today that I rock, it's more definitive. It's more self-explanatory as to the fact that we are a motorcycle ministry. On the other patch, it just had MM, which those in the community know the MM stands for motorcycle ministry. The same way SC stands for social club, MC stands for motorcycle club, RC riding club. But for someone else who's not familiar with the motorcycle culture, if you will, they just automatically assume we just all gangs. And I just thought it was important for us to make sure there was less lesser chances for mistaken identity. Because some people may see you doing what you do, but they have already mistakenly identified you as something else. Therefore, the deeds that you're doing are fruitless in their opinion, you know? Um, so for those of you who are in motorcycle ministry, and I got a call the other day. It was actually a text. Individuals getting ready to start a motorcycle ministry want to sit down and kind of hear my heart on some things from, the, starting a motorcycle ministry and everything like that. And I've got a lot to say. I got a whole lot to say. The question is, will they listen? Yeah, that is the question. So I just want to encourage those of us who are in motorcycle ministry to be careful not to lose your identity in Christ, to be identified with the world. Um, as it relates to motorcycling, and I believe I've ridden with some of the greatest riders on the urban side anyway, that we know, that we have still among us. Um, and here's my point: when it comes to motorcycling, if you ride your scoot, the rest will sort itself out. I mean, just ride your ride your ride. You may never be the great ground pounder. You may never be the legendary, so and so or whatever. But everybody has a part to play in this thing called life. And as long as you are genuine, sincere, and authentic, then you will leave a lasting impression in this world. Too many of us, we're losing our identities trying to impress. We're losing our identity trying to, convince and prove. Look here, I ain't got nothing to prove to nobody. I don't want no smoke. I ain't about that life. You say what you want. Look here, I'm doing my thing. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm gonna do it to the best of my ability, and I'm gonna do it for the purpose of pleasing God. And all the rest is gonna sort itself out. If you don't approach life that way, you're gonna mess around and lose your identity. You're gonna get lost in the sauce, be stuck like Chuck. So, ladies and gentlemen, saints and ain'ts, everybody, including Lottie Dottie, always, always, always remember that real recognize real. See, the real one's gonna see it for what it is, and the fake ones, yes. And if you out here impressing fake folk, you're gonna get fake results. You're gonna get faked out. Yeah, it's not gonna end well. Can you imagine getting down to the end of the journey only to find out that you squandered your time, resources, talent, etc., because you was trying to please folk who really couldn't even do nothing for you? Don't lose your identity. JJ Aguilera, what's going on, brother? It's so good to see you, man. He said, hey, man, I'm just a man of God who happens to ride. And that's what I'm called to. Come on now. That part right there, brother. And trust me, them brothers right there, man, look at here. Those brothers ride they school. I mean to tell you, I'm JJ, you already know, man. I am thoroughly impressed with their riding style, skill, ability. Joe, yeah, those brothers right there, man, united in him. Good group of brothers. They ride, they motorcycle, they ride them well. Um, and see, here's the reality: I can't control how you see me, but I can and I must control how I present myself. Now, if you can't read and it says cat and you say rat, then that's on you. I spelled cat, you read rat. That I ain't got nothing to do with that. You take that up with your elementary school teacher or whoever taught you how to read. But seriously speaking, I can't control your perception, but I can control my projection. Come on, somebody. That ought to go on a shirt right there. Somebody make some noise. That was good right there. I can't control your perception, but I am responsible for my projection. And so I am grateful for. See, I've had some good things in life. I like good things. I've never had the best of the best, but I've always had good things. And before y'all take it too far, let me say this. Now, some people who have the best of the best, they lose their identity in the things because they see what the things afforded them. All eyes on them. Oh, that's them new J's. Oh man, you the man. We know we can't hide money. Folk be saying stuff like that. And so now you become hungry for that same energy or that same, and you lose yourself sometimes going after these things. So your wife is at home, your children at home, and yes, they are appreciative of the fact that there's a roof over their head and the fact that you're providing. But they really want you. They want your presence. They don't want you to be present. They want your presence. Okay, what I mean by that is they want you there and they want to feel you in the moment. Because sometimes we are there, we're in the room, but we're not in the room. Your kids want to spend time with you, and all you thinking about, I got this report that I got to hand in, and I got to do this, and look here, man, it's gonna get done, but don't sacrifice your loved ones and the people that are depending on you, because your identity is so wrapped up and lost in your assignment. There are a lot of people who won't get this, and there are some people who will, twist it. But that's okay. As I said, I can't control your perception, but I am responsible for my projection. And by God's grace, and if you continue to keep me lifted in prayers, brothers and sisters, to the best of my ability, man, I'm going to stay true to who I am. I like good things. I like good stuff. Don't get it twisted. Um, but a lot of times I've had subpar stuff. I've had stuff that was nothing, but I treated it like it was something. I fixed it up, put a little different color on it or whatever. Put a little swag on it, and just make it do what it do. Because at the end of the day, it is what it is, and it's gonna be what it's gonna be. And if you strip me of all the stuff, all the cars, all the motorcycles, all the clothes, all the houses, all the this, all the that, if I'm no longer who I am, then I didn't need the stuff to begin with. The stuff was a hindrance if that be the case. And some of you don't need that motorcycle. Yeah. You so you're so enamored in the culture and don't even realize you the problem that the culture has. Culture vulture. Yeah, you need to park that motorcycle for a little. You can barely ride it anyway. I seen some of y'all pull up to the stoplight, be all feet be dangling, you all wobbly and everything, and talking about you about that life, man. You barely keeping that thing upright. Let me stop. All right, guys. I better get off here before I go somewhere I shouldn't go. But at any rate, don't lose your identity. That's the message. Okay. If you don't know who you are, you need to figure it out. And one way to figure it out is the things that you feel are most important to you, other than your family. Put it down for a moment. Remember when God told Abraham, I want you to leave from your country and from your kindred to a place that I will show you. Y'all remember that? Okay. He says, look at here, Abraham. I'm going to make you the father of many nations. If you can number the sand on the sea, if you can number the stars in the sky, you'll be able to number your inheritance, or your seed, if you will. But guess what? Mama Sarah, her womb wasn't working. And now time is getting away from us. Abram about 100 years old. Sarah 90 years old, and stuff is, yeah, and so anyway, they figure, you know what? I believe God, but I just don't know how he gonna do this thing. So let's help him out. And so Sarah says, look here, Abraham, you going into in the room with Hagar, my handmaiden. So she's, technically she's our handmaiden. So, so anyway, that didn't work out. I mean, oh, she had a baby. See, you can make stuff happen if you want to, but just because you make it happen don't mean it was supposed to happen. I'm going to leave that alone. See, you'll miss that because you're so wrapped up in your things, and your identity is, you're identifying with the wrong things. Look at here. I don't care how you feel. You can feel sweet as molasses. If you was born with a thingy thing, then you come on now. I know you might feel like but if you wasn't born that way, it is what it is. Some things you feel you got to fight. I've been married 30 years. Come on, somebody. You think I don't see a little something every now and then? My eyes still work. But sometimes you just got to, you know what? The devil is a liar. Look at, so y'all ain't going to be mature enough and talk real? See, that's the problem. You're identifying. Where is it at? Let me see if I got it here. We got so many folk. Their identity is in this, right? This is a clergy collar, y'all. I ain't wore this thing and I don't know how long. Their identity is in that. It's in the robe. It's in the fact that they, this, that, and the other. But they got issues that they're not addressing because of how they identify. I don't know. I might have lost some of y'all right there. Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can get this thing back on track. C1s, what's going on, man? We are born in sin and shapen in iniquity. Okay? Paul said there's a war in my members. You know what retro say? What I say is this. The devil will give you a thought, make you think you thought the thought, then condemn you for thinking you thought the thought. So just because I feel a certain way, I've got to reel this thing in. First of all, how did that feeling get here? Is it of God? If it's not of God, then I can rebuke it. I can reject it. But what do we do? You know what we do? He gives us a thought. The devil gives us a thought. And then we think that we thought that thought. So now I'm thinking that the reason why I'm thinking this is because of who I am. And so now I begin to identify with the lie that the devil's been telling. Okay? So now my identity is all messed up. I'm already on shaky ground now because I'm questioning who I'm a child of God. I'm a born again believer. Old things have passed away and all things are become. That's my identity. I'm no longer a sinner. I'm not a sinner saved by grace. I'm a child of God that's been reborn because of the grace of God. Y'all missed that, man. Y'all missed it. So he'll give you the thought, make you think you thought the thought. Now listen to this now. If you go to my house right now, okay? I'm just gonna be a transparent moment. My front yard on the left side, if you're facing my house, the left side, because my front walkway splits the front property, okay? almost evenly. Okay. Next door to me on the left side, if you're facing the house to the left side, my neighbor, really cool brother, him and his wife, beautiful couple. I love them folks. They're really good folks. Now, they have made the choice to make an investment that I wasn't willing to make. Okay. They have invested in having a landscape company come out and mow their yard, I don't know, twice a week, give or take, especially during the summer months when it's growing good. But not only are they, because see, I can mow my own grass. I had a landscape company, so I do real good on my own. But they went a step further. They don't just come and cut their yard, they come and they fertilize the yard. Okay? They treat the yard. And so when you look at my house on the left side, facing my house on the left side, the treatment that they've been putting in their soil, true story, it flowed over. And so now one side of my yard is just as I've reaped the benefits because of the proximity. Y'all gotta work with me. Y'all gotta stay with me now. Because of the proximity, because our yards, y'all know what it's like. It's not like his yard stops and then there's a 3 foot space and then my yard starts. No. So he's been treating his yard, and it's flowing over, it's boiling over, it's overflowing into my yard. Now, the sidewalk comes, and then my sidewalk is about a good 3 feet wide, right, coming down my front walkway. So the benefits of their yard being treated stops at the concrete. Y'all should be seeing where I'm going with this, man. Sometimes we are fighting the thoughts that we are fighting because of the proximity where we hang. Come on now. And as a result, we begin to lose our identity. He gives you a thought, make you think you thought the thought, then turn around and condemn you for thinking you thought the thought. You too close to some things and some people. You're too close to some people. You're too close to some things. And you're losing your identity. And it's not God's plan. It's not what he had in store for you. Okay? So I want to say to somebody, this might not be for everybody, okay? But somebody needs to hear what I'm getting ready to say. Pause. Pause. Put it on pause. A week, 2 weeks. Number one, see if they miss you. Number two, see, sometimes we only crave it because of the convenience. In other words, if you stop doing it for a little bit, you'll realize that you really don't need it. You're not addicted, you just got a habit. And here's what happened. You are not addicted. You just have a habit. And habits can be broken. Okay? But because you have believed the lie of the devil, you have been made to believe that a habit, which can be broken, is an addiction, which even can be broken. But they're two different things. You see what I'm saying here? So, pause. Pause. Because some of those folks, their life is not going to skip a beat. If you are that important to them, oh gosh. Did I finish the other example I was making when I went to scripture? I think I was talking about Abraham. Anyway, Miriam, she was stricken with leprosy because she opened her mouth and was running down the man of God and his wife, Moses, who was actually her brother. Okay? And God was going to kill her. And Moses intervened. And God speaks to Moses and says she's going to be stricken with leprosy. And so here's the point that I want to make from that. She has leprosy and she is banished from the camp for a space and time. They couldn't move on until she got back. That's how important she was to the group. But in your situation, you need to pause for a minute. You skip one day and you're going to realize that folk that said they rock with you going to move on and not even miss you. Won't even skip a beat. You're loyal to them, but are they loyal to you? You have compromised your identity, but yet still they're not compromising, sacrificing anything on your behalf. Nah. That's not a friendship. That's not a brotherhood. You just lost in the hood, but it ain't a brotherhood. It's see, friendship, brotherhood is not a one-way thing. It's a two-way thing. And be careful now, because that two-way thing is not only when it's convenient, but period. You know, it's a two-way thing. And if you pause those folk for a little bit, they ain't gonna skip a beat. They're gonna move on without you. They're gonna move on without you. And I get it, people got things to do and stuff like that, and but what I'm saying is, I need for you to understand that they're not loyal to you the way you're loyal to them. And I know everybody's going to display their level of loyalty differently, so you can't match it apples to apples and oranges to oranges, right? Because if I'm sitting on big paper and I buy you lunch every day, I can afford to, right? Whereas I can't expect you to buy me lunch every day because I know your situation is not doesn't allow you to. So I can't say, well, I bought him lunch, 7 days a week. He hasn't bought me lunch once. He's not loyal to me. That's not the case. We can't match it apples to apples and oranges to oranges. But check your folks out, man. Check your situation out, and then ask yourself, who are you? Miles, in my opinion, are not a badge of honor. They're simply a point of reference. I look at your odometer, and it's a point of reference to your dedication, to your sacrifice, to your commitment, to your seriousness, as it relates to motorcycling. But they are not a badge of honor. The honor comes from what you've done with those miles. If you've got 70,000 miles for the year, and all you did was went to annual after annual, drunk some liquor, got drunk, did this, did that, I know, you said, well, I got to support. Yeah, I understand that, But what did you see? How many smiles did you collect? Did you make a difference? Did you encourage somebody? Did you inspire somebody? When the motorcycle clubs started initially, it was about way more than just a party. It was about way more than just, proving something to somebody that you don't even like. It was about security, safety, camaraderie, purpose, protecting our community, making sure things was good in our hood. I guess we can say even the MC set has lost its identity. You 50, 60, 65, 70 years old, and you trying to ride your motorcycle across country, talking about you got a shorty out there. Man, if you don't get your grandma behind home somewhere and you know and sit down somewhere At this point, you should be trying to secure legacy. Make sure that your grandkids and your kids, get the message that it took you too long to get. All right, I'm gonna get off my soapbox. Ladies and gentlemen, saints and ain'ts, everybody, including Lottie Dottie, it's your boy Retro. Um, and I'm out of here, man. Mistaken identity, it is real, and um, and we need to check ourselves. You are not what you do. You are not your career. That's not who you are. It's what you do. And so don't get it twisted. Yo, folks, it's going down May 31st, okay? Right here at Upper Praise Ministries, Kingdom Alignment Motorcycle Mission. Now, here's the thing about this. This is open to the public, of course. We would love for you to come, bring your club, bring your riding club, your MC, RC, SC, or whatever the case may be. Y'all can come and just be blessed along with us as we bless the Lord. But when you know who you are and whose you are, you extend an invitation and let it be what it's going to be. Because we going to have a time if nobody shows up but us. Because we know who we are and we know why we do what we do. And so this is where we got to get back to. I'm not trying to ride all the way down to, Timbuktu just to say I rode down into your event. Now you got to come to my event. If I come down to your event, it's because I rock with you. If I come down to your event, it's because I see something in you and I want to show you my level of support because of what you are doing and what you have done. And should you return the favor, then hey, cool. But if not, guess what? I'm still going to be who I am and I'm still going to do what I do. We have to stop doing what we do based on the numbers. Now, the reality is sometimes the numbers help you perpetuate what you're already doing, but you shouldn't get numbers to do something that you're not already doing. Man, let me get out of here, bro. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Retro, man. Y'all come see us. If you need your bike blessed, we'll do it on the 31st. It is not a bike blessing. This is our Biker Sunday. Upper Praise Ministries is not a biker church the same way Upper Praise Ministries is not a black church. Now, I'm a black man, and we got a lot of black members, but we also have some white folk here, too. Come on, somebody. And so any title or wording that goes before the word ministry or church diminishes the power of the church or the ministry. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. I was wrong before once, but seriously, so we're not a biker church. We are a church that welcomes bikers. And one of the reasons why we are able to welcome bikers is because we understand bikers. And one of the reasons why we can understand bikers is because we spend time with bikers and we share some similarities. Yet still, I remain authentic to who I am. So, with that said and done, I want to give a shout out to my beautiful wife and the rest of the ladies of Gift, Girlfriends in Fellowship Together, women's ministry here at Upper Praise Ministries. And you guys, I'm not going to say I've been silent, but I've been a little missing in action to an extent here lately. It's because I'm working on some things. We got a lot going on here at the church. And I'm actually glad for that too. We got a lot going on, and see, here's another way you can tell when someone is losing their identity. They no longer have the ability to maintain balance. Yeah. See, as much as I enjoy riding my motorcycle, and Lord knows I really do, I enjoy doing it. There must be a balance. If getting on that motorcycle and finding some open road is more important than my grandkids' soccer game, then something is wrong. I at that point I would be losing my identity. And sometimes we allow a good thing to become a bad thing because we failed to maintain a proper balance and to identify ourselves correctly. You have a lot of church folk, in my opinion, okay, who they do things and the world accepts them. And they take that as a badge of honor. Now, I do believe that he that winneth souls must be wise. Paul said, I become all things to all people that I might win some, you know. And so there is a strategy to winning souls, and there is a way to be effective in ministry. I get that. But never lose your identity in doing so. I think we saw that in Kirk Franklin's ministry. And there's so many others. In my opinion, he was one of the first ones that I saw that in his ministry, because he was an awesome songwriter. He was the one who gave us Melodies from Heaven and Silver and Gold and so many other church hits. And then came Revolution and Stomp, and they were kind of jiggy, you know, the young folk was rocking with it. But it was during that time that he began to lose his identity, or should I say, take on another identity. And maybe that's what we're dealing with. It's not so much that people are losing their identity, but they're putting it down to take up another one. And how would I look? The Bible says no man putting his hand to the plow and looking back is fit for the kingdom. And so how would it look? I'm out here riding my scoot, riding my motorcycle all across the country, you know, and every club knows my name, but the ministries don't know who I am. More importantly, folks who are suffering, who are sick, who are bound, you know, don't even, you know, in other words, the Bible says in the book of Romans, talks about, it says that they are groaning for the manifestation of the sons of God. This world, they're groaning for the manifestation. They're tired of the Carns and the Saps and the Longs and the this and the that, and you know, rising to prominence and then falling in integrity. It's because they lost their identity. They failed to stay true to who they were. We see that in the life of Saul. He was small in his own eyes. Then he became lifted up in pride, lost his identity. And as a result, the kingdom was torn from his hands. And I don't want that to be said about me. I don't want God to tear the kingdom from my hands. I don't want him to tear the ministry from my hands. I'm not perfect, nor are you. None of us are. And we will have our, but if you stay true to who you are, your flaws and all, God will work with you. Now, I'm saying don't take that as an excuse or a license to sin now. Don't take that as an opportunity not to address your issues and take accountability. Don't do that. But if you just cast all your cares upon him because he cares for you, then you're going to be all right. He'll get you through the get through. And after that you have suffered a while, he'll strengthen you, establish you, settle you, and make you perfect. I got to go, man. I really do. I got to go. But anyway, we'll see you guys soon, man. Again, if you guys want to come by and fellowship with us, Sunday, May 31st, service starts at 11 a.m. Bring your motorcycle, bring your lawn chair. It'll be an outdoor service. And if you need any more information, inbox me. We're going to be doing a ride that Saturday, some fellowship on that Friday. So make sure you get that. We got some good folks coming in to see us from up top, up north. So they've reached out. They're coming down. So any motorcycle ministry that's watching, man, hey, we'd love to fellowship with you. So put it on your calendar if you will, man, and come hang out with us for a little bit. What's love? Let me talk about that real quick. You see it in the background right here. This is something that we do monthly. It is a marriage enrichment, and it has been a blessing to me as it has been to others. No one has all the answers, but everyone has an answer. Everyone has something that they can help enrich each other. Okay, that's what we have to understand, man. You may say, well, my relationship is in shambles. You got something you can offer. And sometimes when you offer what it is you have to offer, it's when you begin to be strengthened. Because I need you in order to survive, and you need me in order to survive. So if you give me what you got and I give you what I got, My goodness, man, we gonna be all right, man. We gonna be all right. So put it on your calendar, guys. It's going down the 28th, I believe it is. Let me double check, make sure I give you the right date. I think it's going to be the last Saturday. We do it on Saturdays, 6 p.m. Yeah, it's going to be the 25th, April the 25th, and it will take place at 6 p.m. We're doing it in person. We have been doing some recording. Last month, we did go live, but I don't know. And the only reason why we went live last week was because it was podcast style. We did have a great time, talked about some good things. We're going to talk about some serious matters this month when we get together. Domestic violence will be one of them. And we want to talk about signs and ways to avoid it and how to get out of it. And just we're going to just talk about it. We're going to have an adult conversation because I believe that too much is going on that is not. I want to be careful here. So I'll just leave it at that. If you want to know what we're going to talk about, come check us out. And if you say, yo, Retro, I would love to be a part of that, man, but I'm way across the country, reach out to me, let me know, and we'll set up something so that we can invite you in via Zoom or something of that nature if you would like to be a part but just physically can't be here, okay? And maybe you are close, but you just say, I'm not comfortable around people, whatever the case may be. If you want to be a part of it, reach out and let us know, and we can give you a link to bring you in. And that way, we can all, you can see what's going on and all that stuff, okay? Until you're able to make it here in person, all right? Let's see here. As far as the women's conference, let's see here. That all goes down on the 2nd of May 2nd. So that's here, guys. That's here. So I'm gonna play the advertisement for that. So if you guys are interested, your wives or your ladies, make sure you share with them as well. And I'm sure the ladies would love to have them. It's gonna happen at the Hampton Hill Suites, 119 Gallery Center Drive here in Mooresville, North Carolina. Couple speakers will be blessing the ladies. So we'll share that with you guys. And that way, like I said, you can put it on your calendars and share with your mom, your daughter, your wife, your auntie, your neighbor, and that way the women can get together in fellowship. Ladies and gentlemen, saints and ain'ts, everybody, including Lottie, Dottie, it's your boy Retro. We love you, and don't lose your identity to be identified with the world. Yo, ladies and gentlemen, saints and ain'ts, everybody, including Lottie Dottie, make sure you register today to be a part of Mission 448, collecting miles and smiles. Also collecting the 4 corners of the lower 48 states and more. We have several rides that we're going to be rolling out in the very near future. So make sure you go over to our Facebook group and join Mission 448. Register today and ride the 4 corners of your state. Who's going to be the first to collect all of the lower 48 states?